Hi there, my name is Dylan Davenport. I am a senior solutions engineer for Kizen. Um, Nia Pollard wanted me to show a recording on our solution for like project management and budgeting and that sort of thing. So I've created a demo account for you guys and wanted to show you some of the capabilities that Kaizen can do. So yeah, so I'll jump straight into it here. What you're seeing here is the pipelines, right? So I've created a project management phase lifecycle here with different phases here. So I have planning, copy, design, dev, QA, and live. These phases are just a standard marketing project management lifecycle. This can be customized to whatever you guys want. You can have as many as you want as well. All you'd have to do is come here, edit pipelines, change the names of these, add stages, create new pipelines. Okay. The next thing I want to show you is the deals, right? So these are the actual projects that you have. You have the Alcoa implementation, you have the Las Vegas Sands project, you have the ADP project. Each one of these deals is a separate entity. So if I go into this deal info, you can see the activities that have been logged through this project. So John Smith just submitted an expense report. You can see some of the fields associated with this. So if I come in here and you can see what the company associated with this is Pollard Banknotes. You can change it to Neo Games if it's Neo Games. You can see the events associated with this. You can also see whether the PM Plano signed, that sort of thing. These are customizable. You can add as many, you can change as many as you want, right? And you can automate based off this. So if I go back here, so these are your projects. These can be easily dragged and dropped anywhere throughout the life cycle. So if you have Alcoa in the dev phase, you can easily move it over once it's in the QA phase. And our dashboards will automatically refresh once this is finished, right? So one thing else I wanted to show you when this deals is how you can actually interact with people. So here, I wanted to interact with somebody. I would come in here, hit the plus sign, say, hey, why is this project still in this phase? You submit it, and then that person will actually get an email and a notification that they've logged a note, right? So as you can hear, I just got an email from it, and then they can comment back and say, plus john@kaizen.com. Yes, we are close to finish. Right? And then they will actually get an email saying this note has been logged on this timeline. They can interact and that sort of thing. So that's pretty much what the project management capability of here. You can add as many as you want. You can change this. You can put this as a table. I like the board a lot better than the table because you can easily drag and drop. You can add deals pretty easily here to say what the deal name is. You can see what the close date is. Close date would be similar to like your projected date of completion. And it would add it. So it's pretty easy. The next thing I wanted to show you was the actual dashboards and how this looked as a dashboard so you can report off this, right? So there's a lot of dashboards that you can do based off of pipelines and projects, right? But I have 2 or 3 over here, right? So I have your average transition time. So once you're in a stage, how long does it take to come over here? Okay. You can see a breakdown based on stage, right? So there's one deal that's worth $100,000. There's 2 deals worth a total of $20,000. And then also a total down here, okay? And then also like a value of deals over time. So if the values change, if the budget changes, then you can see the change over here, if it's over budget, if it's under budget, that sort of thing. So you can easily add dashboards to this. So you can add what you want to see. Do you want to see the pipeline growth? Do you want to see the pipeline trend, the project history, and the project overview, right? So you can easily add whatever you want here. You can customize these. These are drag and drop. You can move them over. You can move them up. So it's pretty customizable, right? So that is the dashboards. Let's look at actually submitting an expense, right? So Kizen has these entities as activities, right? So if somebody wanted to submit an expense, they would have to log an activity on the actual project, right? So if I go in here to Alcoa implementation and I wanted to log an activity and submit an expense to this Alcoa implementation, I hit here, submit expense, the amount of expense, this submit an expense activity would pop up. I would say, let's say I spent $15 on lunch. So I'd come in here, hit on food and beverage. These are customizable, right? So we can have as many different fields as you want here. You can say as many different things here. I thought of 3: transportation, food and beverage, and lodging. You can say what the date of expense was. Usually, I know some companies want, if it's lodging and expenses, they want the specific days that they want. So Kaizen's pretty cool with this. You can create rules, right? So if it's lodging, we can have something come up and say the dates of expense or the date timeline or that sort of thing, and you can enter in multiple dates: begin date, stop date, right? So that's something cool that we can do. And then so I've created some of these there. So is this expense reimbursable? Yes, no. What company are you associated with? Pollard Banknotes, Neo Games. And then what events does this expense deal with? So I know that you have events that you go to that will you will submit expenses to. So I've added this. This is a dynamic tag where you can add as many options as you want. And then some notes here. So once you want to submit this expense, you'd hit save here. The activity will be logged right here, so you can see a timeline of the deal. So this is kind of cool. So everything that's been logged to this event, everything that's happened to this project, you can see it right here, right? So you can load as many things as you want here, and all the interactions, every email that's been sent out, that sort of thing that's dealt with this deal or dealt with this project, you can see here. You can easily filter this as well. With messages, activities, surveys. So if you just want to see the activities, which is the submit expense, it will just activities. There'll be a few of them, right? So here are the activities that I've done. So that's a pretty cool thing. The next thing I wanted to show you was dashboards, right? So the dashboards for the expenses, you can actually see the number of categories of the expenses, how many I've submitted, how many John Smith submitted. If there's more people, there'd be more people here. The actual total of the expense, the average amount of the expense. So here's just 3 little ones that I've created. You can create as many as you want. You can create it based on anything that you want. It's pretty customizable in that way. The last thing I wanted to show you was the actual automations. So these automations are kicked off when an activity is logged, when someone submits an expense, something happens pretty much, right? Or they can be manually kicked off as well. So one automation that I've actually created was the submit an expense activity. So once a submit an expense activity has been logged, which I just did, it should send out a team member has submitted an expense email to the finance department, right? So it'll send out this email, which you can change and customize yourself, to the last active finance team member on this account. Or you can choose a specific person to send this to, right? Once this email has been sent out, I scheduled an activity for the finance department to actually approve the expense report, right? So now the finance department will get a notification saying, you need to approve this expense report. What's cool about it is you can keep cascading onto these automations, right? So once this activity has been done, right, this approved expense report activity has been finished or logged, it can actually send an email based on whether it's been approved or rejected. So if it's been approved, you can send an email to John Smith saying your expense report has been approved. If it's been rejected, it can send an email to John Smith that has been rejected, and then it can do the next thing, whatever happens in the life cycle, right? So that's a pretty cool thing. So that's a very, very, very quick overview of the project management and budget capabilities of Kizen. Let me know if you have any questions. Thank you for listening.